Good day, everybody, and welcome to our first audio lecture for HPED 4518, Motor Learning. We'll be using Jeffrey Ives' textbook, Motor Behavior, throughout this semester, but I'll be using these audio lectures occasionally to supplement the work of our textbook and to give you a bit of a different perspective about the things that we're talking about. And this will be part of your online learning modules that you'll do outside of class time. The first chapter we're going to be looking at is chapter 1 in our textbook, and it's not what we're going to talk about today, but it's about the introduction to motor behavior and understanding a little bit about the mind-body connection. And in that chapter, we'll differentiate a little bit about motor control and motor learning and why we're using a textbook called Motor Behavior and how that relates to motor skills. So let's talk a little bit about the field itself of motor behavior. And really, it's about understanding how humans control their movement and learn movement skills. Some researchers also focus on the movements of animals, but in this class, we're going to deal primarily with human behaviors. Often the term motor behavior is used to refer broadly to the field or to various activities that involve movement. When we observe people to assess their movements, we use the term motor performance to refer to what we can see and what we can measure. For example, an athletic therapist might observe a patient's motor performance in executing an exercise designed to strengthen the muscles that support the shoulder. In observing this performance, the therapist might note the amount of weight used, the number of repetitions completed, and the quality of the movement. For example, whether or not the technique or the skill was correctly executed. There's two general categories of professional activity related and within the field of motor behavior, both of which we're concerned with, and both of which are concerned with gathering information about movements, research, and practical application. In this class, though, we're primarily going to focus on the applications of motor behavior. However, throughout this class, you'll see the contributions of research. And in our labs, you'll actually conduct assessments based on research methodologies. Okay, so let's start by discussing the category of professional activity within the field of motor behavior that involves the practical applications of concepts and principles to facilitate performance and learning. People who focus on this aspect of motor behavior are often called practitioners, and at Mount Royal, it's generally where we reside, particularly in the training of practitioners, and obviously this is why you're here. You're probably familiar with some of the more widely known types of movement practitioners, such as coaches, physical education teachers, or athletic therapists, but practitioners in many other occupations also regularly consider ways of improving movement performance and learning. These include trainers in commercial and industrial and military settings, dance, music, and art instructors, occupational and speech therapists, and voice coaches. Indeed, because movement is so central to our existence, the practical application of principles and concepts from motor behavior can benefit nearly every aspect of life. It's important to remember that research and practical application are not mutually exclusive. Many researchers are also interested in practical applications, such as myself, and many practitioners are involved in conducting research. It's best to think of research and application as two types of professional activities rather than two types of professions. Although a coach might not publish research articles in scholarly journals, her long-term success will often depend upon the depth of understanding of her sport and that she has developed throughout her career using systematic observation. Okay, let's discuss the three sub-disciplines that I mentioned earlier. The field of motor behavior is commonly divided into those three areas called motor control, motor development, and motor learning. So in general, professionals that are interested in motor control tend to focus on topics related to how we control our movements. They often attempt to explain the control of movements in terms of how the brain and central nervous system interact with muscles. In addition, mechanical factors such as muscle forces and limb velocities are often incorporated into their explanations. These professionals might be interested in how we coordinate two or more of our limbs during the execution of a complex task.
Created using Powtoon.